Well, I just went on and you guys didn't even hear me, so that's even better. So I was actually defining, first of all, what knowledge is, um, because I think we to have a base of the definition is really, really important. So for me, one of the things I learned as a coach is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. And knowledge is me putting something in your brain. Knowledge is learning math. Knowledge is taking a test. Knowledge is going to school. Knowledge is getting a certificate. And no matter how many certificates I get, that's not going to give me wisdom. That will give me knowledge, but it's not going to give me that intuitive connection that I need in order to be the best me that I can be. It has its place. Knowledge has its place in this third dimensional experience in order for us to create a framework of understanding and working together. But knowledge is not wisdom. Wisdom is just knowing. And sometimes wisdom comes from experience, right? But for me, it really is. I will say to someone, they might say, well, how did you know? And I'll give another example and then welcome Sheila. So another example, um, my first job as a leader, as a manager in an organization, I was asked to come in because they needed someone who could figure out how to save them. And the president thought I was the answer. And I have no idea how I knew to do what I did because I did not have a college degree. I did not have the knowledge of a leader, but I had what I called then street smarts. I trusted my gut, right? And so everything I did because, oh, it felt right to do this right now. And he would say to me, how did you know to do that? And my response was, how did you not know? Right? And so that was wisdom. That is knowing. So, and Sheila, you were the one who brought this subject up. You're really excited about talking about this. So, um,
Yeah,
thank you. I shared the wrong link. Too bad. Anyone trying to get in, my bad. Uh,
I was
so
waiting
you
for
took a
my
minute,
I was
right?
waiting.
You took a minute
I
to
was
come,
like,
and I took a minute to get off mute. So, welcome, Sheila.
thank you, Gail. I'm so excited to be here. I always am. I love our conversations.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So,
Okay.
what were you thinking when you thought that's such a great subject to talk about?
Well, for me, knowledge is the things that you've experienced through your life. And wisdom for me is the knowing your soul already knows. And it's like a higher frequency than just experiencing it. It is part of the innate process that we have as humans and why we're here to begin with, to experience all this experience to get the wisdom. And the wisdom connects all of the wisdom that we've had as far as the knowing. It connects with all the other lifetimes that we've experienced as a soul, all these experiences. And it's now time for us to use that wisdom to do our purpose, to move forward and what we're supposed to do here. So wisdom is very important. Knowledge is too. And I like how you talked about streetwise. Yeah, streetwise. Absolutely. But it's also, it's different than people that can have all this education and don't have any street smarts. They just don't use common sense. They go
Right,
above and
right.
beyond. It's like it's not working, guys. Maybe you got to try different. Try different. But we've all met people like that is so educated that it's kind of comes out being stupid, not really using common sense. And I truly believe that all the lifetimes and experiences that we've had is to help us exactly where we're at right now, to pull all that, to go with inside our inner knowing, our inner soul growth of who we really are. We're more than just this meat suit, you know, we're more than just our experiences, you know. The same with, you know, the families that we are born into. You know, we say, oh, I would never be born into that family, I would never experience what I did, but your soul did that so that you can experience these things and have more wisdom to add to the experiences, right?
Or
So
resist it, or resist it.
or resist it. And then why are you resisting? And a lot of times the resisting is because it didn't turn out good the last time, you know. So the fear, the actual energy that is stored within the energy center that you come in with, all right, so it all plays a part. That's where our intuition comes in. You know, we all have intuition and we kind of know that, but we don't really understand it until now. Now we can kind of put the puzzle together. As I always say to my students and my clients, is like, let's put all the pieces together. You know, we're trying to eat the whole elephant at the same time. We need to take baby bites, but those baby bites add up to something, and they add up to the actual tapestry of your soul. Who are you? Why did you come here? Why serendipity and synchronicity? Why did you learn all these experiences? And then serendipity, where and it's synchronized just so that you could meet those people, just so that you can continue on doing your work, you know. So
Well,
they go hand.
and I like to say, let's change your perspective. Walk away. If you're too close, it's like you can't see the forest for the trees, right? Step back and observe from a different perspective, and that takes a little bit of practice.
Well,
R-
that's exactly what we're doing now, is
Right.
that take back, observe it, but don't absorb it or actually react to it. Take the time to go inside and process it. Look at the perspective of what you know, look at the perspective of where they're at, and then you can say, okay, is this battle worth it? Type of situation where some people just aren't there yet. So you have to come from a different perspective to kind of help them understand what the whole topic is or whatever the conversation's about. And that's where you go inside, you get quiet. You know, that's where your soul comes in. Let me step back, take a deep breath. That's what they always say. Take a few breaths before you you say anything, you know, or repeat the question again so that you get information, your wisdom, to bring forward the right answer or the right conversation that you're having.
I might say, in fact, I do say, not might say, I do say, I need to process this. Let me think about this. And typically, when I'm doing that, I ask the universe, help me understand. And
Right.
usually it's understand where they are coming from.
That's what I'm, yes. And then you can come from your heart center as far as compassion. They
Mhm.
do not know what they do not know yet. And that's where you're the conduit. You know, that's where you see a part in it. And the actual unconditional love, you accept the person even though you might not be where they're at or do it the way they do it, but you're there to show unity, to show that we're all connected, and also to help them grow. The same as when you're looking at yourself, when you know, take the time to digest all that and really look at it. How did I learn that? How do I know that? I didn't know that 20 years ago. However, with those experiences, I got the wisdom to understand it. And now hindsight is 2020. I understand what I didn't know then. That's where the wisdom, and as I always say, the older I get, the wiser my parents become, is because they had the wisdom to try to teach me something that I wasn't ready to hear yet. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to hear yet.
And I love
Yeah.
the I wasn't ready. There have been times, I'm just popping onto Facebook here. There have been times when I've had clients come to me because they've wanted to work with me, but they're not ready.
And you know that. And
Yeah.
that's when you can really look at it. Is it the ego that I want this person, so I'm just going to let them keep going? Or put it out there, maybe you ought to look at it this way, or I have somebody that maybe could help you. I'm really not knowledgeable about that. Be honest. Be honest,
Or
because that's
I,
opened up a real dialogue.
yeah, or I might, and I'll say I might fry your brain. You're not ready yet. Let me give you someone else, right? And what I mean
Yes.
by that is you're not going to understand even what I have to say, or you might say, whoa, I'm not ready to go there with you yet.
Yeah. Do it in a loving way that they can
Mhm.
understand. And what I meant by ego is that, it's all about the issues in our tissues and how we develop and how we grow. And a lot of times we're not doing what we really need to do. We don't know that yet. And so we have to experience those type of challenges or obstacles to understand where we need to go. What is that's part of the experiences, right? The experiences that we're learning. So we need to take the time to allow ourselves to grow and allow them to grow. Exactly. Let me get you somebody that maybe can help you a little bit better than I can. And that's being honest. That's being totally honest. And that's what you want. You want an honest conversation because we're not all, you know, gods. We don't know everything, and I like that because it shows that I'm really intimate with the person. I'm really connecting on a heart center. I'm not trying to fool somebody. I'm not trying to boost my ego up type thing. It's like really, it's like I don't know. Or well, let's look at this from a different perspective, as you said. Let's look at a different perspective. Maybe somebody else can look at it differently and help you better than I can. That's good. I like that.
One of the things that have happened recently, when I say recently, time is relevant, right? The last few years with me is I more and more step into the need to not have to explain myself because a lot of times I can't explain to you that I got an impulse, that I got a message, that I got a direction. How can I explain to you my experience with the Almighty, if you will, in helping me make my choices? Nor is it any of your business that relationship I have. If I make a choice, I'm making it from my heart, and if your response is other than receiving it that way, then I ask you to look in the mirror, please. It's not
Nice.
about me if that's how you're responding. And
Exactly.
you know the road trip I've been on, and you know the experiences I've been having have been solidifying, has actually made that division of, wait a minute, that's not me, that's them looking at themselves. And and I cannot address that. I can't address your anger, your fear, your frustration. I can't solve it for you. I can't be your savior anymore. Um, you have to save yourself, and that's the big one, I think. The
Yeah.
big wisdom versus knowledge. Knowledge is who can help me. Knowledge is where's the information, right? Knowledge is how do I do this? Whereas wisdom is who am I,
Exactly.
right?
Ex-
Yeah,
The answer is within.
yeah,
And help them find it themselves. Help them find it themselves. And
yeah.
a lot of people just want validation. They want to be heard, they want to be seen.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
they're always going to other sources to kind of give them information when the information is already inside you. The mirror image is very, very good. And I have found it depends on how you say it to them because we're all wounded in some way. We're not broken. We're just
Thank you.
wounded. Yeah, we're not broken. We are individual beings and we have our own identity. And sometimes we don't know what that identity is because we've always followed the rules, stayed with inside the box, not take the chance to look out. And then when you've been put down for going outside the box, then that puts another level of insecurities. I'm unworthy. Somebody else got to fix me. I'm broken. You're not broken. We are just experiencing life to grab or to imprint our wisdom in our souls so that we can use it going forward and help somebody else.
Well, if for me, I look back now and I realize how every experience was so artistically designed
Yes.
to wake me up.
Mhm.
And when I've not taken the opportunity to wake up, then that experience gets louder and louder and louder. And it's, they hit over the head with the brick. Um, and when I work with clients, because I've done this with myself, I help them unidentify, like I am not my experience. My experience was for me to grow, but I am not the the neglected 7-year old. I am not the abandoned 9-year old. I am not the raped 12-year old. I am not that person. I had that
Exactly.
experience and I can grow from that experience. By identifying with the experience, I become, that's where the wound is,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Thinking that I am a rape victim. I refuse to say that I am a survivor of cancer. That's bullshit. I am not a survivor. I am a soul. I had this experience for a purpose,
Right.
right?
It's wonderful. It's, I love the way you explain that. Thank you
And
so
that's
much.
that's wisdom versus knowledge, right? I
Exactly.
think that knowledge is an outside thing, whereas wisdom is 100% inside.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you have to go.
Yeah. I have to go. Um, Thank you for this conversation. I think we should continue it. I think we should add to it
Well, think
because
about what you would like to add to it
I
because,
will. I
yeah,
will.
we have quite a few more sessions out there.
More, what I was thinking is more is coming through with that wisdom, with everything that we're going through. So let's
Yes.
let's swing
You
back to
go,
that.
and I'll talk a little
I
bit
will.
about what's going on right now.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
everybody. Thanks, Gail. See
Bye,
you
Sheila.
later.
Thanks for popping in.
You're welcome. Bye bye now.
And we have just a few more minutes anyway, but I do want to take this opportunity to talk about so, how do you tap into the wisdom? How do you know that it's the wisdom? And a lot of people say, intuition, tap into your knowing, tap into your growing. And that is exactly what it is. And it is who we are. It's not a spiritual. So let's debunk spiritual. Okay, let's debunk that. It's not spiritual. It's who we are. It is what we are made of. Have you ever wondered where your thoughts came from? Have you ever had a conversation with yourself in your head and thought, well, that's weird. I'm actually arguing with myself. I used to joke about the fact that I have battles with myself all the time and I always win. I'm concerned about the time that I'm going to lose that battle. You never lose a battle with yourself. And why would you fight with yourself? There are different perspectives to everything, and I will examine different perspectives until I feel in my gut, until I feel like a click, click, click. If you take a look at a bunch of gears that are out of alignment and then click, they go into alignment. That is wisdom. That is intuition. That is you tapping into your source, who you are. And some might say connecting with God, some might say connecting with my angels, someone might say connecting with my guides, someone might say connecting with my higher self. It doesn't matter how you define what is going on. The point is that you're connecting with wisdom. I had a little quote there, a little statement about how Solomon asked God for wisdom. God said, anything you want, anything you want. What is it? And he said, discernment, to be able to have the wisdom, to be a great leader, to be able to have the wisdom to make profound choices, the ability to have the wisdom to to know to know that this is right. And I call it a knowing. Others call it wisdom. Others say I hear messages from whoever, the council, the Pleiadians, God. It's connecting with yourself. And when it's right, there's no need to explain yourself. When it's right, there's no need to define yourself. It's like that first job that I had as a leader. And my boss said, how did you know? And the only thing I could say was, how did you not know? And I did some crazy ass things for someone who had never at that point gone to college, someone who at that point never really was mentored as a leader. I made some ridiculous financial choices, some system computer choices, some process improvement choices, some accountability choices, and a lot of leadership choices that I had, if you looked at my background, no right knowing that this would work, but I knew deep down in my gut that this is what we needed to do in order to move this company forward, in order to move this company out of the mire that it was in. I just knew. And when I was allowed as a leader to just know, I never failed. When I was not allowed as a leader, when I was micromanaged, I always failed because it wasn't me being allowed to tap into the knowing, tap into the knowledge of the wisdom of the universe, but being directed by this is how it's done. Yeah, I don't understand that language because every moment is a brand new, different moment, offering me brand new wisdom, offering me brand new perspective. And every time I replay the story on Friday that I have been telling on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, first of all, I'm boring the heck out of everybody. And second of all, I have blocked anything new and brilliant coming through. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? So I ask you, what will it take for you to let go of your need to learn, your need for knowledge? What would it take for you to step off that ledge and fly with the angels into a sea of wisdom? It's waiting for you. It's always been there for you. All of the power that ever was and ever will be, all of the knowledge that ever was and ever will be is available to you right now. That's called wisdom. Real talk, real answers from the heart. Thank you, Sheila, so much for joining me. I am so glad that you were here. I love conversations with you. Everyone, let go and be the amazing thing that you absolutely know you can be. Bye bye.